The night I became public enemy number one in a neighborhood I didn't even live in. I never expected a nap to turn into a neighborhood scandal. But then again, life has a funny way of smacking you in the face when you're just trying to get a little rest. It all started with three things: exhaustion, a rich lady's dog, and a woman whose grasp on reality was about as firm as a balloon in a thunderstorm. My name is Calvin Cal Hawthorne, and I'm a freelance carpenter. That's a fancy way of saying I fix expensive things for people who think manual labor is something other people do for sport. Most of the time, it's fine. I work odd hours, I get paid decently, and every now and then, someone tips me in homemade pie. Life could be worse. That week, I was working on a custom doghouse for Mrs. Loretta Bloomfield, an elegant widow in her 70s who believed her Pomeranian, Prince Archibald, deserved a scaled-down replica of the Taj Mahal. And she wasn't kidding. I'm talking hand-carved columns, gold leaf trim, and even tiny marble turrets. It was the most absurd and intricate project I had ever taken, and I loved every second of it, except for the part where I hadn't slept in nearly 36 hours. It was 2:30 a.m. when I finally admitted to myself that I needed a nap. I was coming back from the hardware store, a cup of gas station coffee in one hand, my fingers sticky with wood glue. I pulled my truck, my beat-up but loyal Ford F-150, affectionately known as Rosie, into a wide-open parking spot on a silent, tree-lined street. It was clean, marked, no sign saying I couldn't park there, and most importantly, empty. I leaned back in the driver's seat, set an alarm for 1 hour, and let my eyes close. The seat creaked, the air smelled faintly of cedar and metal, and my brain immediately slipped into a hazy dream of golden domes and barking Pomeranians wearing crowns. I'd been asleep for exactly 32 minutes when I was jolted awake by a sound so shrill it could have chipped the glass on my dashboard. "Excuse me. Excuse me, sir." I shot up, heart pounding. My window was still cracked, and standing outside was a woman who looked like a suburban banshee. Robe, slippers, hair piled high like she was preparing for battle. Her arms were crossed, lips pinched tight like she'd swallowed a lemon whole. "Are you the owner of this vehicle?" she demanded, as if Rosie had committed a felony. Groggy, confused, and blinking like a newborn deer, I replied, Yeah, that's my truck. Is there a problem?" Her eyes bulged. "A problem? You're parked in front of my house. My guests have nowhere to park because you decided to camp out in my spot." Now, let me be clear. I wasn't parked in front of a driveway. I wasn't blocking a fire hydrant. I wasn't even in front of her actual house. I was parked outside the entrance to a gated community. There wasn't a single no parking sign anywhere in sight. But she wasn't having it. "I live in a private community," she snapped, jabbing a perfectly manicured finger toward my truck. "We have rules about this sort of thing." I sat up straighter, trying to be polite. "Ma'am, this is a public road. I'm not breaking any laws. I'll be gone in less than an hour." Her face turned a shade of red I didn't know was possible at 3 o'clock in the morning. "We'll see about that," she hissed. And just like that, she whipped out her phone like a gunslinger in a spaghetti western. "I'm calling the police. I know the Homeowners Association president personally." I sighed. 5 minutes later, 2 officers showed up. Good guys. Tired. One of them sipped from a thermos that smelled like strong coffee and quiet resignation. I explained everything to them. They nodded. Then they talked to her. Her name, I would learn, was Gretchen McAllister, but everyone in the neighborhood called her Gretchen the gatekeeper. Apparently, she'd appointed herself sheriff of her own gated fiefdom. "She's claiming you violated HOA regulations," the taller officer said to me, trying not to smile. "But since you're not a resident, you're not subject to those rules. Still, she won't let this go." I rubbed my temples. "So what now?" He shrugged. "If you could just move it forward a few feet, maybe 3 yards. That might cool things down." I thought about it. I really did. I could stand my ground. I could pull out my phone and film the whole thing for the internet. Or I could move the truck 3 feet, go back to my workshop, and build that little golden dome before sunrise. I chose peace. "Fine," I said. "I'll move Rosie." Gretchen puffed up like a victorious rooster. "That's what I thought," she crowed, turning back to her friends, who were still holding a box of half-eaten donuts and pretending not to exist. I moved the truck 3 feet. Then I had an idea. A stupid, beautiful, glorious idea. Rosie, God bless her old soul, had a horn that sounded like a freight train falling down a metal staircase. I rarely used it, but tonight was special. I waited until Gretchen and her guests were back inside. Porch light flicked off. Silence returned to the street. Then I leaned on that horn. The sound echoed through the entire block. Alarms went off. Dogs howled. Lights turned on in houses like someone had hit the neighborhood panic button. And just for good measure, I gave a little wave to the silhouette of Gretchen, frozen in her front window like a ghost in a horror movie. Then I drove off. I figured that was the end of it. I finished the doghouse. Mrs. Bloomfield was so delighted she cried real tears and handed me an envelope with twice the agreed payment. I went home and took the longest nap of my life. I thought it was over, but Gretchen didn't. A week later, I was on my porch, sipping iced tea and listening to the hum of cicadas when a black SUV pulled up in front of my house. A woman in a navy blue blazer and heels stepped out, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Hawthorne," she asked crisply. "That's me," I said warily. "I'm Evelyn Drake, president of the Willow Crest Homeowners Association." My heart skipped a beat. "They found me," she continued. "We've been reviewing a recent incident involving a complaint filed by one of our residents, MS. Gretchen McAllister. I braced for a lawsuit, but instead she smiled. "We'd like to thank you." I blinked. "Come again." She flipped a page on her clipboard. "Turns out, Gretchen has been causing problems for years. Complaints, harassment, calling 911 over minor things like leaf blowers, filing noise reports because someone's Christmas lights blinked too fast. She called the police on me because I took a nap." I muttered. "Exactly," Evelyn said. And this latest stunt was the last straw. Apparently, my encounter had prompted the HOA to investigate her pattern of behavior. After reviewing weeks, months of records, they voted to censure her, strip her of her role on the Architectural Review Committee, fine her $5,000, and enroll her in mandatory anger management. Oh, and she was banned from calling 911 unless someone was actually bleeding. Evelyn offered a firm handshake. "Thank you for helping us finally do something." It took a non-resident to wake us up. I watched her drive away, stunned. The next time I passed the Willow Crest entrance, I swore I could feel Gretchen's rage radiating from behind those pristine hedges. But me? I slept like a baby that night. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it comes in the form of a clipboard, a fine, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing the next guy who parks there won't be getting screamed at for just being tired.